Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I actually have a few plants that I want to pot up. They've been rooting in water for a couple weeks now, so I want to get them all potted up into semi-hydro. So I am going to be using my custom pond mix, and I'm also going to be using some leca as well. So lately I've really been enjoying using pond for my plants, but because pond is so small, sometimes you have to use a lot. So I've been mixing leca into the pond mix, and that's been helping me stretch the pond a little bit more. Adding leca or even perlite helps to stretch it so that you don't waste so much of it. So I'm going to be doing that. I'm also going to be potting everything up into a no drainage vessel, either glass or a plastic cup, something like that, whatever I have. So we can just jump right into it now, and I'm going to tilt the camera down so that you guys can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, so the first plant that I want to pot up is actually this one here. And I got this about a week or two ago. The intention was so that I could grow it out and I could always have cuttings for it to be on the shop, but also keep it in my collection as well, because it was something that I really wanted. When I unpotted it, it didn't really have any roots. They were completely rotted. So I was really upset about that. I rooted it back in water, and I think I'm just going to move it to semi-hydro because that's my preferred method anyway. So I guess it works out. I'm going to just pot it up back into this vase here. And I get these vases at the Dollar Tree, actually. I'm going to be a little bit heavier on the leca for this one just because of how big the vessel is. I don't want to have to waste a lot of the pond because that's something that happens a lot with pond, is that it's so little that you end up using a lot of it when you're trying to fill large vessels. So you can stretch it with leca or perlite, and that usually helps a lot. Just gonna do that. I was gonna put this plant on a moss pole, but I'm gonna just leave it alone for now. It has some aerial roots growing, and I'm probably gonna let them just grow out and then cut it again so that I can get another prop of this going sooner than later. But I'm gonna let it grow out for a little bit first and see how it does in the pond. So this is what it's looking like. So when I'm done with this video, I am going to water them all with liquid fertilizer. And when I water my semi-hydro plants, I know you guys ask a lot of times how much water you should be using. If it's a water prop, transferred from water to semi-hydro, you can do a lot of water because obviously the plants are used to water. But a general rule of thumb, I think, is either 1/3 of the cup or 1/2. And then for me, I just let the water completely dry out and then I'll refill it again. So that's how I do it. There's tons of different ways you can do it, but that's the way that I like to do it. So this is what this one's looking like. It's so beautiful. I'm really loving how beautiful the leaves are. But yeah, you can see I did a mixture of the leca and the pond. So the next plant that I have is this Philodendron Florida Beauty, and I'm going to pot it the exact same way. It's going to go into this clear vase, heavier on the leca to stretch the pond. So the thing with this plant was that it was attached to one arrowroot that was connected to one leaf. I had got this plant as a reverted cutting. It was a solid green leaf. It actually grew out to have every single leaf highly variegated, which was kind of crazy. But yeah, I've talked about this plant before, but it did break because it was kind of my fault. I had lifted the plant to repot it out of its current leca that it was in, and it snapped. So now I have two, which I guess isn't too big of a deal, but yeah. It snapped, and now I'm left with this big piece, which is beautiful, but I'm also left with the reverted cutting again. So now I'm waiting to see what that plant will do, because if it produces another highly variegated plant, I'm going to be really impressed. So I'm super excited for that. So I'll keep you guys updated on that. But yeah, this plant is gorgeous. I talk about this plant a lot because it's kind of one of those things that I just can't get over, that I bought it as a reverted cutting, and I bought the cutting for $50, and I ended up with this beautiful Florida Beauty. So And I really like these vases that I get from the Dollar Tree because they're so tall. They're like perfect for like these type of plants, like these like tall philodendrons and even like anthuriums, like top heavy anthuriums. It has a new leaf coming in at the top here, and literally every single leaf has just been so beautiful. So super excited to see this new leaf unfurl now that it's potted up. I'm gonna just keep it in this vessel for a while. I think as it matures though, I might flip it over to my soil-free mix instead of semi-hydro, just because, you know, when the plants get so big, it's kind of hard to keep up with when they're in semi-hydro. This guy is looking good. That's what he's looking like. So the next plant I have is this Amy Durium, a medium blue cutting. This was a cutting off of my mother plant. I took the cutting because the plant was getting too tall and decided to reroot it in water. And I was struggling like trying to root this plant for a really long time. It's not an easy plant to reroot. Every time I've done it, it's literally rotted, like even in water. But this time around, it's actually rooting, so I'm so happy about it. As you guys know, I love this plant. It's one of my favorite plants, and I think they're just gorgeous the way that they fenestrate and everything. So I'm just doing this guy in a little cup, and this is just a cup that I like saved from like when I went out somewhere and got like a drink. I try to reuse as much stuff as I possibly can. I'll save things like cups and like jars and stuff like that. I think it's like with this hobby, it's really easy to be sustainable because you can just reuse so much stuff, you know. And it has a new leaf coming up here, so I'm just letting that stay above the pond. There's this guy. This is a pretty big leaf. These leaves get really large, so if you are ever looking for this plant, just know that this plant gets really big. I have it here in this cup. So yeah, I'm excited to see how this one does in semi-hydro because I've never grown this plant in semi-hydro, so I'm excited to see how it does. So the next one I have to pot up is actually this little cutting. The next two plants are actually little Hoyas that I propped for myself. This is a Hoya Sarawak. I've wanted a Sarawak for a really long time. I just haven't got around to getting them, but I recently got some for the shop. So I ended up just taking a small cutting for myself so that I could grow it out as well, because I am someone who doesn't like really big Hoyas. Like, I like them when they're like little, like this. I don't really care for them when they are like really bushy or like trailing and stuff. Like, I don't know why. I just feel like Hoyas are just so cute that they should just be like little all the time. And whenever they like grow really long, I like end up cutting them because I just prefer them to be so little like this. I know that this was like perfect, just one little leaf, and then it's growing this runner, so I know it'll start putting out leaves soon. These little Hoyas, they fit perfectly in my Rudsta cabinet on the top shelf, so that's where I keep all of my little Hoyas. I don't have that many Hoyas, but I just like the little ones because I think that they're cute, and I feel like you can collect more when they're like little like this. So I just potted this one in a little dessert cup. I get these also from the Dollar Tree. You can get these on Amazon too. They're called dessert cups or like parfait cups or something like that. They usually come in like a pack of 6 or 10. And these are like perfect for these little props as well. So hopefully soon it'll give us another leaf. The next plant is another Hoya. These are the same plant. They were together, but I ended up cutting them to make them separate. But I'm gonna pot them in the same vessel. They have some really pretty like splash on some of the leaves. Not too much splash. So I'm gonna just pot these two together. They're just gonna go in this little cup. I want to start collecting more Hoyas, but I just like I said, I just feel that I just like them when they're so small, and I don't want to like go through that like Hoya obsession where I just keep buying like super small ones and then they end up obviously getting bigger and then I have no space for them. So I just been taking little cuttings of the ones that I do get for the shop. Trying not to go out of my way too much for Hoyas, but I feel like they are really cute plants and I really love them. They're really easy care too in my experience for someone who, for me, I care for mostly like philodendrons. I find that Hoyas are really easy, and I didn't know a lot of people were like kind of intimidated with Hoyas, like because they're just afraid like that they don't know how to care for them, but I feel like they're really easy and I don't think you should be afraid. Especially if you're into semi-hydro, I would definitely just pot it up like semi-hydro and let it be, because they do so well. All of my Hoyas that I have are in Pon or Leca, and they do so well. So this one is like kind of ugly looking because I did pot it kind of weird, but to be fair, it was where like the leaves were like situated. Like, I don't know, like it's in here, that's all that matters to me. But I put it in this little cup that I had. This was just another cup that I'm like reusing, so I don't have to throw it out and waste it. But yeah, this is this guy. So that is all I have for plants today that need to be potted up. Lately, I don't really have that many plants in my own collection that need a repot or to be potted up. I don't take that many propagations anymore because I'm kind of happy with the amount of plants that I have, and I'm not feeling so overwhelmed now that I have a smaller collection. So these videos are really quick, and I hope that you're okay with that. Most of my plants are in semi-hydro, and semi-hydro repotting is very easy when you're just transferring from water to semi-hydro. There's really not much to it. If you haven't tried it, I highly recommend that you do. Start with Leca and Pon because I think that you'd really like it. I've really been enjoying Pon, and it's really easygoing and it's easy to maintain and everything like that. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!